Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, Paul Revere's Ride, See Below, is based on historic events, but it is more of a tale and not a historical account. Longfellow wrote the poem after taking a tour of Boston in 1860. He was a pacifist and abolitionist who wrote the poem to try and unify a divided nation on course for the Civil War. Historians have dissected the poem since 1860 and compared it to Revere's account of the ride in his own words and other historic evidence. The National Park Service points out several inaccuracies, including the following: Longfellow's works may not have prevented the Civil War, but after the war ended and the nation was getting ready to celebrate its centennial, the poem had a renewed importance. The gratitude for Paul Revere led to the preservation of his family home, built in 1680, which is the oldest home in Boston. A statue of Revere was modeled in 1885 and is near the Old North Church. The regulars are coming. It's unlikely the riders shouted, "The British are coming." Many Americans living in the countryside still considered themselves British. The regulars were known to be British soldiers. From Boston to Concord the mission, on the evening of April 18, 1775, Paul Revere and William Dawes were dispatched by Joseph Warren to warn Samuel Adams and John Hancock in Lexington and many others along the route that British forces were heading their way. Boston to Lexington is about 13 miles. Lexington to Concord is about 6-8 miles. After warning Adams and Hancock, they met Dr. Samuel Prescott and continued on to Concord to warn the militia and to verify that the military stores had been properly dispersed and hidden away. Outcome: not all three riders made it to Concord, but Prescott did, and the militia was able to prepare to meet the British in Lexington, where the first shot of the Revolutionary War was fired on the morning of April 19. After a skirmish in Lexington, the British forces faced a larger band of Minutemen in Concord. The American militia stopped the advance and forced the British to head back to Boston. Henry Wadsworth LongfellowJan. 1861 issue of the Atlantic MonthlyListen, My Children, and You Shall Hear of the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, on the 18th of April, in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, "If the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church Tower, as a signal light, 1 if by land, and 2 if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm."